Hello everyone, my name is Elspeth, you're watching the Planeswalker Pantheon, and today we are opening up a collector's box of Commander Legends. So many pretty foily shinies in here, I just can't wait to get into it, and I bet neither can you wait for me to open it. So let's just actually do it and open it, shall we? Alright. So, we've got our collector's boosters right here. This is really tight, a nice little bit of art of Prosh. Ooh, and they're so shiny and pretty. Even like the packs have got this cool hollow effect on them, I'll say as I drop half of these packs. Alright, let's get to it, shall we? Alright, first pack. There we go. So we've got some foil commons. Some foil uncommons. Ooh, foil full arcane signet. Someone's gonna want that, I think. For Ramirez. Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro, 2 and a blue legendary creature spirit pirate. It's a 2/3. It can't be blocked by creatures with toughness 3 or greater, and whenever Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro deals combat damage to a player, choose up to one target card in a graveyard that it was discarded or put there from a library this turn. Put that card into its owner's hand. I can partner it. Balbokra Spectral Sergeant. So for 2, a red and a white, you get a legendary creature spirit soldier. It's a star 5. Note the converted mana cost of each card that's as it's put into exile. Balbokra's Spectral Sergeant's power is equal to the greatest number noted for it this turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Cool, cool, cool. Also, the only soldier to ever solve his own murder. We got a foil Nevinrol's Disc. So for 4 mana, you get an artifact. It enters the battlefield tapped. You can pay 1 and tap to destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Ooh, so we've got a foil full art arcane signet, a normal full art commander sphere here, a full art staff of domination. So for 3 mana you get an artifact. You can pay 1 to untap the staff, pay 2 mana and tap to gain a life, 3 mana and tap to untap target creature, 4 mana and tap to tap target creature, and 5 mana and tap to draw a card. Ooh, here we go, and we've got a etched foil of Togo Goblin Weaponsmith. So for 2 and a red, you get a legendary creature Goblin Artificer. I hope it's capturing nicely on the camera. It's a 2/2. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you create a colorless equipment artifact token named Rock. With equip creature has 1 and tap, sacrifice Rock. That creature deals 2 damage to any target, and you can equip it for 1. Ooh, that's a nice etched foil. We have Rayhan, Last of the Abzan, which was originally printed in one of the commander sets. So for 1, I believe it was one that had the original partners. So for 1, a black and a green, you get a legendary creature, Human Warrior. It's a 0/0. Rayhan, Last of the Abzan, enters the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. When a creature you control dies or is put into the command zone, if they had 1 or more +1/+1 counters, you may put that many counters on target creature. We also have Zara Renegade Recruiter. So for 3, a blue and a red, you get a legendary creature Human Pirate. Whenever Zara Renegade Recruiter attacks, you look at the defending player's hand. You may put a creature card from it onto the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. Return that creature to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. And we got a full art horror token. That's really neat. And it's got the Thrall on the back. That's actually... Who makes Thralls in this set? I literally have no clue who makes Thralls in this set. So we got our full art foils, our etched foils, and our thing. Okay. As long as we've got a system, it works, I will take it. Next up, some foil commons. Got our foil uncommons here. Ooh, foil full art acidic slime. That's a nice one. Got a foil Hamza, Guardian of Irration. So for 4, a green and white, you get a legendary creature, Elephant Warrior. It costs 1. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. And creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter. So that's just a normal one. And we've got a foil Nadir, Agent of the Dusknell. So for 5 and a black, you get a legendary creature, Elf Warrior. It's a 3/3. Whenever a token you control leaves the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Nadir, Agent of Dusknell. When Nadir leaves the battlefield, create a number of +1/1 green Elf Warrior tokens equal to its power. Ooh, we've got a foil full art Bio Waste Blob. So for 2 and a green, you get a creature ooze. The 0/0 oozes you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a commander, create a token that's a copy of Bio Waste Blob. Ooh, just a normal full art Soul Ring right there. That's a nice one to get. We've got a full art Flamekin Herald. So for 2 and a red, you get a creature Elemental Wizard. It's a 3/2. Commander spells you cast have Cascade. Alright, so our first etch foil is a Rumi of the Dead Tide. So for 1, a blue and a black, you get a legendary creature, Merfolk Wizard. It's a 1/4. You can tap and exile cards from your graveyard equal to the number of opponents you have. Target creature in your graveyard gains Encore until end of turn. The Encore cost is equal to its mana cost. Ooh, and we got a etch foil of Ravos, Soul Tender. So, for 3, a white and a black, you get a legendary creature, Human Cleric. It has flying. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. It has partner. It's a 2/2. Ooh, and we got the etch foil Nevinroll. So for 3, the white, the blue, the black, you get a legendary creature, Zombie Lizards, a 3/6. It has hexproof from artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. When an Nevinroll Urborg Tyrant enters the battlefield, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token for each creature that died this turn. When Nevinroll dies, you may pay 1, and when you do, destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Got the Elf Warrior and the Angel right there. Alright, next up. Some foil commons. A foil Meteor Golem. We've got a normal foil of Rebek, Architect of Ascension. So for 3 and a white, you get a legendary creature, Human Artificer. It's a 3/4. Artifacts you control have protection from each converted mana cost among artifacts you control, and she has partner. We have Iktek, Salvage Splicer. So for 4 and a green, you get a legendary creature, Human Artificer. It's a 1/1. When Iktek enters the battlefield, you create a 3/3 colors golem artifact creature token. Whenever an artifact is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Iktek and a +1/+1 counter onto each golem you control. We have a Court of Bounty. So for 2 and 2 green, you get an enchantment. When the Court of Bounty enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you're the monarch, instead, you may put a creature or land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Ooh, full art Preordain. That's a nice one for those who love to play Legacy. Got a full art Root Weaver Druid. So for 2 and a green, you get a creature Elf Druid. It's a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent may search their library for up to 3 basic lands. They each put one of those lands onto the battlefield tapped under your control, and the rest onto the battlefield tapped under their control. Each player who searches their library this way shuffles it. We have an etched foil Mirara, the Thorn of the Glade. So for 1 black, you get a legendary creature Elf Scout. It's a 1/2. Whenever Mirara, Thorn of the Glade, or another elf you control does, you may pay 1 and 1 life. If you do, draw a card, and it has partner. Ooh, we got Crom Ludovic's Opus. So for 3, a blue and a red, you get a legendary creature Zombie Horror. It's a 4/4 with flying and haste. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card, and it has partner. Oh, we got the bunny! So this is Quain, Iterant Meddler. So for white and a blue, you get a legendary creature Rabbit Wizard. It's a 1/3. You can tap it to have each player may draw a card. Then each player who drew a card this way gains 1 life. We have a Salamander Warrior and an Angel right there. I love that we've gotten the disc and Nevinroll both times that we've opened Commander Legends products. That's kind of cool. Alright, so next up, some commons. Oh, foil Caramorphic Expanse. Got a Confiscate and a Vow of Duty. And a 2-year Bear Claw. So for 1, a red and green, you get a legendary creature, human warrior. Whenever 2-year attacks, it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among other creatures you control. So that's just a normal foil there. We have Dargo the Shipwrecker, so for 6 and a red, you get a legendary creature, giant pirate, so 7/5. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you may sacrifice any number of artifacts and or creatures. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each permanent sacrifice this way, and 2 less to cast for each other artifact or creature you've sacrificed this turn. So we've got a full art foil Sazat's Will. For 4 and a black, you get an instant. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast a spell, you may choose both. Each opponent sacrifices a creature they control with the greatest power. And you can exile all cards from all opponents' graveyards and create X01 black thrall creature tokens where X is the greatest power among creature cards exiled this way. Ooh, full art 3 visits. That's a nice get little there. We got a foil Hull Breacher, so for 2 and a blue, you get a creature Merfolk Pirate. It's a 3/2 with flash. If an opponent would draw a card except for the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, instead you create a treasure token. This is already, I believe, seeing play in Legacy in Merfolk. We got a Malcolm Keen-Eyed Navigator in the etched foil, so for 2 and a blue, you get a legendary creature Siren Pirate. It's a 2/2 with flying. Whenever 1 or more pirates you control deal damage to your opponents, you create a treasure token for each opponent dealt damage. Hey, there's Vile Smasher the Fierce. So for 1, a black and a red, you get a legendary creature, Goblin Berserker. It's a 2/3. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, you choose an opponent at random. Vile Smasher the Fierce deals damage equal to that player or planeswalker that player controls, and it has partner. And we got the etched foil of Bel Bokra, Spectral Sergeant, Salamander Warrior, and a zombie. That was a nice one. I like that. That's a good one. That's meant to be the foil. I see. Foil uncommons. Here, foil rare. There. Some commons. Some uncommons. Alright, we've got Kasich the Flesh Sculptor. So for 2 and a black, you get a 1/3 legendary creature, Human Artificer. You can tap and sacrifice 3 other artifacts and or creatures. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your graveyard, hand and the other into the graveyard, and it has partner. We have Sengia the Dark Baron. So for 4 and 2 black, you get a legendary creature, Vampire Noble. It's a 4/4 with flying. Whenever another creature dies, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Sengia the Dark Baron. Whenever another player loses the game, you gain life equal to that player's life total as the turn began, and it has partner. We have Elvish Dreadlord. So for 3 and 2 black, you get a creature zombie elf. It's a 3/3 with Death Touch. When the Dreadlord dies, non-elf creatures get -3/-3 until end of turn, and you can encore it for 5 and 2 black. We have a full art Reliquary Tower. Coercive Recruiter. So for 4 and a red, you get a creature Orc Pirate. It's a 4/3. Whenever Coercive Recruiter or another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature until end of turn. It gains haste and it becomes a pirate in addition to its other types. We have the Abomination of Llanowar in the etched foil. So for 1, a black and a green, you get a legendary creature, Elf Horror. It's a star with vigilance and menace. Abomination of Llanowar's power and toughness are each equal to the number of elves you control plus the number of elf cards in your graveyard. We got the Thrasios. So for a green and a blue, you get a legendary creature, Merfolk Wizard. This guy really needs no introduction if you're big into Commander. For 4 mana, you get to scry 1, then reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it into the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, you draw that card, and it has partner. And we've got an etched Achroma Vision of Ixodor. So for 5 and 2 white, your legendary creature Angel. It's a 6/6 with flying, first strike, vigilance, and trample. At the beginning of each combat until end of turn, each other creature you control gets +1/+1 if it has flying, +1/+1 if it has first strike, and so on for double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, protection, reach, trample, vigilance, and partner. Got another Salamander Warrior, and the Monarch token looks really nice in the foil right there. Alright, next up. Some commons. Some uncommons. Captain Vagrous Wrath. So for 2 and a red, you get a legendary creature, Orc Pirate. Whenever Captain Vagrous Wrath attacks, pirates you control get +1/+1 until end of turn for each time you cast a commander from the command zone in this game, and it's a 1/1. Hey, we got Gen Arkham Weaver. So for a red, a white, and a black, you get a legendary creature, human wizards, a 2/3. For a red, a white, and a black, you sacrifice an enchantment. Return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Kind of neat. Got a full art foil Magus of the Order. So for 2 and 2 green, you get a creature, human wizard, to 3/3. You can pay green, tap, and sack Magus of the Order and another green creature. Search your library for a green creature card and put it into the battlefield, then shuffle your library. We've got a full art Generous Gift. Full art Plague Reaver. So for 2 and a black, you get a creature base that's a 6/5. The mean of your end, sacrifice each other creature you control. Discard 2 cards, sacrifice Plague Reaver. Choose target opponent, return Plague Reaver to the battlefield under that player's control at the beginning of the next upkeep. Got a etched foil Numa Jiroga Chieftain. So for 2 and a green, you get a legendary creature, Elf Warrior. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay XX. When you do, you distribute X +1/+1 counters among any number of target elves, and it has partner. Hey, Derevi as well. These are some nice edge foils that I'm hitting. So, for a green, a white, and a blue, you get a legendary creature, Bird Wizards, a 2/3 flying. Whenever Derevi enters the battlefield, or a creature you control does combat damage to a player, you may tap or untap target permanent. And for 1, a green, a white, and a blue, you can put Derevi onto the battlefield from the command zone. Hey, and we've got a etched foil again there. And we've got a treasure and a zombie. Next up. Some commons. Face of Succession in foil, which looks so pretty. Foil full art Preordain. That's not bad. That's not bad. We've got Breaches, Brazen Plunderer. So for 3 and a red, you get a legendary creature, Goblin Pirates, a 3/3 with menace. Whenever 1 or more pirates you control deal damage to your opponents, exile the top card of each of those opponents' libraries. You may play those cards its turn, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells, and it has partner. We have Rayav Mastersmith here. So for 2 and a red, you get a legendary creature, Dwarf Artificer. It's a 2/2. Whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equips attacks, that creature gains double strike until end of turn. We have a foil Blade Griff prototype. So for 5 mana, you get an artifact creature, Griffin. It's a 3/2 with flying. Whenever Blade Griff prototype deals combat damage to a player, destroy target non-land permanent of that player's choice that one of your opponents controls. Go a foil full art Fleshy Bee, Fleshbag Marauder. A normal full art Fleshbag Marauder, a normal full art Blade Griff prototype. We have a Nara Wolved Familiar. So for 3 and a green, you get a legendary creature, Wolf Beast. It's a 4/4. As long as it's your turn, commanders you control have indestructible. Hey, it's the Wanderer. It's the Maelstrom Wanderer. So for 5, a green, a blue, and a red, you get a legendary creature, Elemental. Creatures you control have haste. It is a 7/5, and it has Cascade and Cascade. And, we got a Lisa Shroud of Dusk. So for 2, a double white and a black, you get a legendary creature, Angel. It's a 5/5. Rather than pay 2 for each previous time you cast a spell from the command zone in this game, pay 2 life that many times. It has flying and lifelink, and whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 2 life. And the treasure and the monarch. Pardon me. Next up, some commons. We've got a Furnace Celebration as our uncommon, a full art foil Opal Palace. So for It's a land that taps to add 1. You can pay 1 and tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. If you spend this mana to cast your commander, it enters the battlefield with a number of additional +1/+1 counters on it equal to the number of times it's been cast from the command zone this game. We have a Mirror Thorn of the Glade. Sluric All-Ingesting, so for 5 and a green, you get a legendary creature Ooze. It's a 0/0. It enters the battlefield with 5 +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever Slurk or another creature you control dies, if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature you control that has a +1/+1 counter on it. And it has Partner. We have Body of Knowledge, so for 3 and 2 blue, you get a creature avatar. It's a star. Body of Knowledge's power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size. Whenever Body of Knowledge is dealt damage, you draw that many cards. Got a full art Acidic Slime. Promise of Tomorrow, so for 2 and a white, you get an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, you exile it. At the beginning of each end step, if you control no creatures, sacrifice it. Sacrifice Promise of Tomorrow, and return all cards exiled with it to the battlefield under your control. We have Nydia, Agent of the Dusknell in the etched foil. We have Rakdos, Lord of Right, so 2 black, 2 red, you get a legendary creature demon. It's a 6/6. You can't cast a spell unless an opponent lost life this turn. It has flying and trample, and creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. And I have Urlock of the Scorch Thrash, so for 1, a black, a red, and a green, you get a legendary creature Viashino Shaman. It's a 4/4 with Vigilance. A player losing unspent mana causes that player to lose that much life. For 1 mana you can untap, each player adds the full Jund. Monarch and a Golem token there. We are nearly done with this. We have only got, after this one, 3 packs left to go. Some commons. Got a foil Demonic Law there, which looks nice. Mask of Memory. Caddis Emberclaw Familiar, so for 1 and a red, you get a legendary creature, Elemental Lizard. Whenever a commander you control deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. It has Partner, and it's a 1/1. We've got Liesa, Shroud of Dusk here. A foil Blasphemous Act, which is really nice. So for 8 and a red, it's a sorcery. It costs 1 less to cast for each creature in the battlefield, and it deals 13 damage to each creature. That's a normal foil. I've got a normal full art Viscera Seer. A full art Nightshade Harvester. So for 3 and a black, you get a creature, Elf Shaman. It's a 2/2. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under opponent's control, that player loses 1 life. Put a +1/+1 counter on Nightshade Harvester. That's a 4. Got Captain Vargas Wraith in the etched foil. We have Ramos Dragon Engine, so for 6 mana you get a legendary artifact creature dragon. It's a 4/4 with flying. Whenever you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Ramos Dragon Engine for each of that spell's colors. Remove 5 +1/+1 counters from Ramos. Add the double white, the double blue, the double black, double red, and double green. Activate this ability only once each turn. And we have Jared Cathelian, True Heir. So for red, green, and white, you get a legendary creature, Human Warrior. It's a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent becomes the monarch. You can't become the monarch this turn. If damage would be dealt to Jared Cathelian while you're the monarch, prevent that damage and put that many +1/+1 counters on it. Got Treasure and an Angel. Foil commons here. Foil uncommons. We have Prava of the Steel Legion. So for 2 and a white, you get a legendary creature, Cat Soldier. It's a 1/4. As long as it's your turn, creature tokens you control get +1/+4. Pay 3 and a white, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. We also have Malcolm, Keen-Eyed Navigator. So for 2 and a blue, you get a legendary creature, Siren Pirate. It's a 2/2 with flying. Whenever 1 or more pirates you control deal damage to your opponents, you create a treasure token for each opponent dealt damage, and it has Partner. Ooh, This is one I haven't seen yet. Soulfire Eruption. So, for 6 and triple red, you choose any number of target creatures, planeswalkers, and or players. For each of them, exile the top card of your library. Then, Soulfire Eruption deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to that permanent or player. You may play the exiled cards until the end of your next turn. We have a full art Boros Charm. Full art Command Beacon. An Etchfoiled Dargo the Shipwrecker. Got a foil full art Prosh Sky Raider of Care. So for the 3, the black, the red, the green, you get a legendary creature dragon. It's a 5/5. When you cast a spell, create X01 red kobold creature tokens named Kobolds of Care Keep, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast it. It has flying. Sacrifice another creature. Prosh Sky Raider of Care gets +1/+0 until end of turn. And we have Avena, the Chaos Bloom. So for a green, a blue, and a red, you get a legendary creature, Elemental Shaman. It's a 4/2. As you cascade, you may put a land card from among the exiled cards onto the battlefield tapped. We have a Soldier and a Rock token. That's the first time I've seen this token, actually. That's really neat. Alright. This is the penultimate pack, the second last pack of this box. Some commons. Oh, full Prismatic Piper. That's kind of cool. Got some uncommons. Got a Glacian Power Stone Engineer. So for 5 and a blue, we get a legendary creature, Human Artificer. It's a 3/6. You can tap it and tap X untapped artifacts you control. Look at the top X cards of your library. Put one of those cards into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. And he has partner. We have Kangi Skywarden. So for 3, a white and a blue, you get a legendary creature, Bird Wizard. It's a 3/3 with flying and vigilance. Whenever Kangi Skywarden attacks, attacking creatures with flying get +2/+0 until end of turn. Whenever Kangi blocks, blocking creatures with flying get +0/+2 until end of turn. We have the Bio-Waste Blob. So for 2 and 2 green, you get a creature ooze. It's a 0/0. All oozes you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a commander, create a token that's a copy of Bio-Waste Blob. We have a full art Thought Vessel. Full art Keeper of the Accord. So for 3 and a white, you get a creature human soldier to 3/4. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player controls more creatures than you create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player controls more lands than you may search your library for a basic plains, run to the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. Ooh, Etchfoil Prismatic Piper. That's really pretty looking. That might be worth a little bit someday. Oh, we got a Xenagos, God of Revels. For 3, a red and a green, a legendary enchantment creature god. It's a 6/5 with indestructible. As long as your devotion to red and green is less than 7, Xenagos isn't a creature. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gets haste and +X/+X until end of turn, where X is that creature's power. Hey, we've got Kadama of the East Tree. So for 4 and 2 green, your legendary creature Spirit, it has reach, it's a 6/6. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, if it wasn't put onto the battlefield with this ability, you may put a permanent card with equal or lesser converted mana cost from your hand onto the battlefield, and it has partner. We have a Golem and another rock. This is it, guys. This is the last pack of some Commander Legends. I hope you've been enjoying this as much as I have. I mean, let's be real, who doesn't like to open shiny brand new cards? It's been a while for me. Had a bit of a break in between this and the last, between the break of the release of Commander Legends and the last thing I'd done. So it was nice to have a bit of a break and, sort of recharge. Some commons, some uncommons. We've got Anara Wolvered Familiar, Alana Kessig Trapper. So for 4 and a red, you get a 4/3 legendary creature human scat, has first strike, can tap to add an amount of red mana equal to the greatest power among creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn, and has partner. We have a foil austere command. So for 4 and 2 white, you get a sorcery. Choose to destroy artifacts, destroy all enchantments, destroy all creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less, or destroy creatures with converted mana cost 4 or greater. We have an Opal Palace. Oh, that's a full art mana drain. Sure, not foil, but I don't really care. For 2 blue, you can target spell at the beginning of your next main phase. Add an amount of colours equal to that spell's converted mana cost. Okay then. We've also got Siani, Eye of the Storms. It's a legendary creature Division Monk. It's a 3/2 with flying. When it attacks, scry X, where X is the number of attacking creatures with flying. We have Zedru the Great-Hearted. So for 1, a blue, a red, and a white, you get a legendary creature, a Minotaur Monk. It's a 2/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of permanents you own that your opponents control. And for a blue, a red, and a white, target opponent gains control of target permanent you control. We have a Kark the Thumbless. So for 1 and a red, you get a legendary creature, Goblin Wizard. It's a 2/2. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, return that spell to its owner's hand. If you win the flip, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. I mean, I did say I wanted to end this box on a high note, and a full art mana drain definitely will count as a high note. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe. It lets other people know that we exist and that we are producing content. You can follow me on Twitter. The links are all down below. You can also find us on Facebook at the Planeswalker Pantheon, where I try to do content whenever I can. Otherwise, it's a very quick place to find our YouTube videos, because I post them there as soon as they go live. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you later.